Okay, we've seen so far how misinterpretation and catastrophization of benign fight or flight response symptoms leads to a panic attack, and we get caught in a cycle of fear. And then after that, we have further panic attacks because of anticipatory anxiety. So these are two separate cycles of fear. And it's important to know that these two fear cycles are even further maintained by two particular behavioral patterns that we fall into in order to try and avert or stop the panic. And that's safety seeking behavior and avoidance. So let's look at safety behaviors first, and we'll call it the safety behaviors trap. First of all, let's look at some examples. You will know these immediately, and you may not have called them safety behaviors. You may not think that they would be any problem as far as panic is concerned. In fact, they seem quite logical. So it's very important that you understand this. So in an attempt to stop panic, we adopt these behaviors. Even if we're not completely avoiding, we'll still try to do things that will make us feel safe and protect us from the imagined consequences of these sensations. So here's some examples. And just see how many apply to you, and you'll probably have a few of your own you can add to this list. Obviously, sitting or lying down, first thing most people do if they feel there's something wrong with them is they either sit down or try and lie down. You lean against the wall if you feel maybe you're going to collapse. You maybe feel breathless, so you'll maybe go out for air, open a window, get a glass of water. You may just completely leave a situation you need to get away. You might ask for somebody's help, for reassurance from somebody else who can tell you you're going to be okay. You may phone somebody. And sitting near an exit, that's a big one most people do. If you've got a meeting, going to the theatre, cinema, you will find the seat nearest the exit because you think, if I have a panic attack, I need to be able to get away quickly. You'll avoid crowds, two reasons. One is you fear they may trigger a panic attack. Another is if you have a panic attack, you feel you'll be very embarrassed. You may carry, nowadays people carry a mobile phone. That's extra assurance that you can phone somebody if you get into difficulties. You may even have a reassuring object in your pocket that you hold on to very tightly. You may start only visiting friends with whom you feel safe, so you just try to protect yourself by staying within your safe zone with people or places. And sometimes you never go out alone at all. You'll always only go out with a friend or family member. For now, just start calling these safety person. You may also avoid physical exertion because you feel this will increase your heart rate, and you may have problems with increased heart rate because you fear it will trigger another panic attack. Or if you feel there's something wrong with your heart because it's beating fast, then you just avoid the possibility of increasing your heart rate. You may just try to distract yourself so that the panic is covered up in some way. Turn up the TV, just loud noise, pacing up and down, anything. Also, you might smoke more, drink more, any way to block it out. And then you may also, it seems logical to practice relaxation techniques or deep breathing, but very often this is done in a frantic attempt to get rid of the panic. So it's not very relaxing ultimately. You may understandably fight or resist the feelings in an attempt to control. So you hold yourself very tight. You say to yourself, I can't let this take over me. If I give in to this, it'll never go away. You may find yourself constantly scanning your body to see, either before you feel panic, you may think, is there any symptoms there? I don't want to go into panic. Or if panic has died down, you may think, is it gone yet? Is it gone? You keep on scanning your body, see if the symptoms have gone. And nowadays, because of all the information online, you may try health supplements, diets, eat certain foods, avoid certain foods, go on fasts, lots and lots of different things in order to try and stop the panic happening. But you can see probably already that this is missing the point, that you're misinterpreting and catastrophizing fight or flight sensations. You also may make sure that you get the exact amount of sleep. A lot of people worry about this. If I don't get a good night's sleep, then maybe I'll feel anxious tomorrow. And also then you just may do things like wear loose clothing, avoid warm rooms, hot drinks, lots and lots and lots of different things. Everyone has their own safety behaviours. Okay, now let's look at why safety behaviours play such a huge part in maintaining your panic attacks. This is very important because most people think these behaviours are a good idea, they're helpful, and they seem logical. Why not? If they make you feel slightly better, shouldn't you be doing even more of them? But what you don't realize is that they're actually causing your panic to be on hold. It's stuck. It won't move if you keep adopting these safety behaviors. Let's look at why. So when we panic, we imagine that a catastrophe is going to happen. Right? We're going to have a heart attack, we're dying, it's suffocating, we're going to collapse, we're going to faint, we're going to go insane, we're going to go out of control completely. So we logically think that in order to stop this imagined catastrophe happening, we should adopt these behaviours. Okay, so it makes sense to in our brain to leave a situation, to sit down, to do something that makes us feel slightly better. It makes perfect sense. And if it does help calm us down, which it can do, because if we do leave a situation and we're getting away from where we think we might collapse or embarrass ourselves, then we will feel slightly less anxious. And if we lie down or sit down, we think we're doing something to help ourselves, so it may actually make us feel slightly better. Problem is, it's not helping us in the long term. Okay, we think if something helps calm us down, we imagine that that's the only reason the catastrophe didn't happen, was because of that safety behavior. We think, if I hadn't done that, who knows what might have happened. Okay, so our fear of the panic and the sensations is left at a catastrophic level, because when it reaches the level of catastrophe, then we do the safety behavior or we leave the situation. We've just left our imagination at that extreme level. We're thinking, if I had gone past that, it would have been completely extreme, completely catastrophic. But we don't know, you see, because we don't give ourselves a chance, because we leave or we do the safety behavior. And we believe if we ever feel that bad again, that's exactly what we need to do again. So we repeat the safety behavior again and again and again. And then we start adding more safety behaviors to safety behaviors, and we get this whole complete list. You probably agreed with most of the list on the previous page. And what this does is, as I said, it keeps your imagination at a catastrophic level to do with those symptoms. And that means you never get to learn that if you'd stayed with this anxiety and done nothing at all to stop it, the disaster that you predicted would not have happened. You know, in all my times that I had a panic attack for years and years, the disaster that I thought was going to happen, it never happened. And you probably discover this with yourself. You've always been terrified of panic, but the disaster never happened. You didn't have that attack. You didn't collapse. You didn't die. You didn't suffocate. You didn't faint. You know, so many things didn't actually happen. But if you've continuously repeated safety behavior, your mind can think, well, the reason it didn't happen was because I always did these things to stop it. So you never get to learn. You never know past that point of extreme panic what actually does happen, because you always get away from it before you allow yourself to get there. Can you understand? That's why safety behaviors play such an immense part in maintaining your fear of the consequences of these fight or flight sensations. So let's look at this safety behavior cycle with illustrations. So imagine fight or flight response sensations arise, rapid heartbeat, and you think, oh, maybe I'm going to have a heart attack. What else could this be? So you logically, understandably, you go and lie down. You think, I've got to lie down, I've got to relax. And lo and behold, panic does die down eventually. But the thing is, the panic would have died down anyway, but we don't know that because we didn't wait. We went, we lay down, and then the panic came down. And the assumption then is the panic came down and the heartbeat came down. I was saved from disaster because I lay down. Okay? And because of that, we didn't learn that we could have coped with the panic, that the consequences of the rapid heartbeat wouldn't have happened. We really don't get to learn that. We might have an idea that that's happening, but it was so extreme. We think lying down is the answer. That was the right thing to do, because you just have to be, can't be too sure. Okay, and this means your fear of panic attacks is maintained because your imagination about the feared consequences is at an extreme catastrophic level. Okay, and that means you're always on low level adrenaline, and fight or flight sensations are more easily triggered again. So this keeps you caught in the cycle. It's another loop.